Welcome to Table Tennis Philosophy. We're going to talk about some table tennis training drills today, and two of my favorites. Now, the idea of drills are that some of them are very structured, some of them are unstructured. These are both structured drills. The bulk of the training that I do with players is building their foundation. It's something I'm very comfortable with, and I've had a lot of players that I've brought from beginner level up to intermediate, get them comfortable competing in leagues and tournaments, and these are the kinds of drills that will get them that far. Usually for players to excel beyond that, it takes a lot of self-motivation, maybe some extra training, and a little bit beyond just getting a good foundation. But you're not going to get to those higher levels without having that good foundation. So the two drills that I do, and really you could probably do both of these somewhat with a robot if you have that, but probably far better to do it with a coach or a training partner. But the first one is extremely simple, and it's just where I block the ball to the left, to the right, and the player is essentially just doing one backhand, one forehand, one backhand, one forehand. And there's a couple things to look at with this. First of all, if somebody's struggling with this, they need to do a lot more. It means they're having a hard time transitioning just from the backhand to the forehand, and that causes players to have problems quite a bit in the early stages of their development. So it's never wasted time to just make sure you get that to the point where it is just, you can do it without even thinking about it. And there's a couple things to think about when you do this drill. First of all, inevitably players will figure out that if they stand right in the middle of the table, they can just go backhand, forehand, and never have to move their feet. That's not the idea. The idea is that, and I'll usually end up hitting the ball a little wider to their backhand side and then their forehand side to make sure that they move their feet. I make sure they start in the backhand corner. The idea is to try to get your hands and your feet moving together, get used to moving your feet. That's a big part of it, beyond just the transitioning from the backhand to the forehand and then back to the backhand. So there's a lot going on in a very simple drill, but it's something that every player should be completely comfortable in doing, and if they're not, it's an easy drill. You can do it with a coach, a robot, anybody that can block the ball left and right, or just feed multi-ball to your backhand or forehand. I find it's probably a little more effective to have it where the coach is blocking as opposed to just feeding multi-ball, but it works either way. And it may be the most basic, the most structured of drills, but it's one that, especially for players that play close to the table, will continue to do it, to continue to make that where they just don't even have to think about it. Part of my philosophy of coaching is you don't want to miss the easy shots. These actually should be easy shots if you're in position. They're basic backhands, basic forehands, but as players are developing, quite often it's not that they just get overpowered or they just miss really tough shots. They make mistakes and lose points by missing the easy shots. All right, the other drill is also fairly easy. It's where the coach starts off with a heavy underspin shot to the backhand. The player pushes that, and then I push it back, usually to their forehand. So their two shots are a backhand push, forehand loop. Now, what this does is starts getting incorporating spin into their game, gets them where they don't even really have to think about doing a backhand push. It's a shot that still is relevant, still have to do it sometimes, and I've found that people do backhand pushes far more often than they do forehand pushes. They're both shots you need to master, but At least for this one, I emphasize the backhand push, and I usually train people to do backhand pushes a bit more than I do the forehand pushes. So if they can give me a good backhand push, I can give them pretty heavy spin to their forehand, and then we can work on their forehand loop. And just doing that over and over and over is going to introduce players to spin and knowing how to loop the ball, get the right motion, get in the right position. There's a lot of things that you can look at to try to improve on this and improve your looping skills, and you discover that part of it is getting in the right position to do it, and then having the right mechanics. If you can get to the point where you do that, one of the things that happens is we start playing these points out. The player gives me a backhand push, I push to their forehand, they give me a forehand loop, and then we play it out. Now, you could also do this to the backhand to work on a backhand opening loop as well, but let's just talk about the forehand loop first. If they give me that forehand loop, I'll try to block that. Now, what a lot of players will do if they've been training this way for a long time, they'll take that first block as we play it out, and they'll loop it off the table because they've been looping off of underspin over and over and over. And now the ball's coming back in topspin. They put it in topspin. I blocked it back in topspin. Now they have to spin the ball down. They can still drive it or loop it, but they're going to have to get on top of the ball as opposed to what they were having to do when they were letting the ball drop and then spinning it into topspin from underspin. So there's a multitude of things that you can work on just with those two drills. And like I said, one of them is just working on footwork and transition. I also like to do the Falkenberg drill, if you know what that is. It adds a middle shot into that backhand forehand. And that exposes a lot of footwork problems, and I like to do that. If you don't know what Falkenberg drill is, that would be a backhand drive, pivot your backhand corner, hit a forehand, step over, and hit a forehand. So you got one backhand, pivot, forehand, forehand, and then right back to the backhand. And one other thing I'd emphasize about those types of drills is I try to tell players, don't try to do these fast, at least not at first, because what you're trying to do is, it's almost like learning a dance. You're trying to get the dance steps right, and you're trying to get your hands and your feet and your head and your eyes and your whole body working together, and it's best to try to start off slow with that, and then eventually your coach can put more pressure on you with those shots, and you can try to do them faster. I've had people that can do the Falkenberg drill almost in their sleep. They don't do it really fast, but at least they've got the footwork down. So you can always build on those things and make it tougher. But that's really just two, and then I guess three drills if you include the Falkenberg drill in there. That if players just did those, it would go a long, long way towards building a good foundation of playing. All right, so that's my early morning video for you. I'm still having my coffee. Thought I'd share that with you. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time, and appreciate any comments you have. Thanks a lot. Bye.